So I recently spoke with a guy who's 45 years old, and he told me that over the years he's gotten less and less attention from women. So back in his 30s, he would get some attention from women. He would meet them on apps or in some events, and he would have dates, he would have relationships. Now things weren't amazing, but things were sort of okay. But the big thing was that he said that he wasn't proactive. So the women made everything happen for him. So when he met a girl would be usually the one that would be driving things forward. When he would go to an event, the girl would be usually the one talking to him and making things happen. And this is actually a fantasy for a lot of guys that they don't have to put any effort. They just want to be the value man where women go up to them and they don't have to do any work. And this was the reality for this guy. Like, women would come up to him, women would make things work for him. He wouldn't really need to put himself in a place of rejection because girls would do the job for him. However, with time, he started balding, his face started changing, and all this led for his confidence to drop. Also, the dynamics of the dating apps or the environment he was in was slowly changing. He was meeting less and less women. And all this led to the fact that women anymore weren't really coming up to him and they weren't really driving things forward. And now all this 15 years later led for him to talk to me, and he admitted that he was lonely, he was miserable. And the worst thing was that he didn't know what to do about it because all those years previously he was relying on women to make things work for him. He was relying on women to do all the work. And now, when women weren't doing that, he was confused. He didn't know what to do. Now, this is the danger of relying on women to make things work and relying on them to drive things forward, is that if you're passive, then one day you can end up like this guy where suddenly environment changes and things are not happening anymore. And this is a classic case. I mean, so many guys who in their maybe 20s or 30s were having a lot of attention from women. They were maybe in specific cities or specific locations, and they obviously look much better. And then they're getting older, maybe they develop a bit of weight. Also, right now, with the dating apps, we see that there's a lot more competition. People are getting a lot less results, so that things are changing. So if your entire strategy is to just be extremely passive, just swipe a little bit on the apps, and then go on dates and not even make any moves and rely on women to do all the work, then this is a massive risk. You can end up alone at 45 or 50 and you have no idea how to improve your dating life. And this is not only about age, it can just be a change in environment. For example, there's a lot of college players in the US, they play a sport, let's say basketball, and they're getting a lot of attention from women because in college they're the superstars, so all the women want his attention, and he's having a lot of organic success where he doesn't really need to put himself out there because women are coming to him. And then this guy leaves college, maybe he doesn't make it to the NBA or pro league, and right now he's just a regular guy who used to play basketball, and now women are not coming up to him. He's lost the social proof from college, and now he needs to put the work and put himself out there and be proactive. He doesn't know how to do that. He hasn't developed the skills to do that, and he ends up being alone. So do you really want to risk your dating life and being in that position where you have no control, where you don't know what to do, just because when you were young, you liked things happening to you. You like when you didn't have to put in the work. You like when you didn't have to face rejection. You didn't have to face that fear. It's very scary and it's very risky. And it's very probable that if that's your strategy, then in a few years, you're going to end up when some environment changes, when you get older, you're not going to have those results anymore. And now what is even more important is that if we go back to this guy's example, he said that back in his 30s, where he looked better and he was a bit more confident, he still wasn't having the best dating life that he wanted to have. No, it was just good enough. So being passive means that you will never reach your true dating potential as a guy, because you'll only reach your true dating potential as a guy when you put yourself out there, when you go for the opportunities, when you make things happen, because that's your job as a guy, is to make things happen, to go outside your comfort zone, to face fear, face rejection, because that's how you become a true dominant guy that goes for things. And those are the kind of guys that women like. If you just passively sit there and passively wait for women to make things happen, you will never ever reach your peak as a guy, both personally and also in your dating life. So bottom line is that being passive is not a strategy. Not only you risk in a few years having literally nothing and having no skills on how to make your dating life happen, you'll always have to live with the idea that you didn't reach your true potential as a guy and you didn't have the best dating life possible because you were too afraid to go out there and make things happen on your own. So don't make this mistake. Don't let 10 or 15 years pass like this guy for you to realize that you've let your dating life go out of your control. Start now. Learn the skills to be more confident. Learn the skills how to talk to women. Don't just settle for whatever life is giving to you. Go out there and create a dating life that you want. And if you want a good start for this, I've created a completely free Logical Man's Guide to Flirting that explains how to talk and flirt with women. It gives you practical flirting examples and even shows you in real life how to apply those flirting techniques. And you can download the guide completely for free from the description of the video. As always, don't just watch these videos, take some real action because that's the only way you're gonna have true change in your dating life.